What is listing generation system? Listing generation system is a real estate listing program that shows you how to get real estate listings with no competition, how to find motivated sellers that will beg you to take their listing and help them sell their home. How I started listing generation system. Hi, I'm Eddie Zubia. I have done a lot of cool things in my 30-year real estate career. I started working for a real estate records company. I worked for a real estate lender. I worked for a real estate bankruptcy attorney. I worked for a real estate investment company. I did regular real estate sales. I owned a property preservation business, which I managed up to 800 properties a month. This is how I got the idea for listing generation system. I was working for a real estate bankruptcy attorney, and the attorney would help a lot of people that were in foreclosure, that were in trouble of losing their home, that were behind with their house payments. Clients would come into the office and the attorney would advise them to file a federal reorganization. The attorney would file a case for them, a federal reorganization, and now they were responsible to make two payments. So the amount that they were delinquent, they had to cure it in what is called a plan payment. So they had to make the regular monthly payment plus a plan payment to cure what they were delinquent in. So if they were $10,000 behind, the $10,000 would get divided into 36 months. So they would make a regular house payment plus a second payment, the plan payment, for $300. Unfortunately, many families were not able to keep up with both payments. After paying both payments for a few months, they would fall behind on their payments. They would start receiving mail from the court telling them to contact their attorney, telling them that they were behind with their mortgage payments. The clients would come into the office and speak to the attorney, and they would tell the attorney that they could not afford to keep the house payment. They could not afford to keep up with the house payments, and they were just going to walk away from their homes. The attorney would advise the clients that had equity in the property. He would advise them to hire a local real estate salesperson to help them sell their property. Within a few days, a real estate professional, real estate salesperson would call and speak to the attorney. The attorney would give him the instructions on how to sell a property and how to proceed with a sale. It's unfortunate, but for some reason or another, the real estate salespeople were not able to close the sale. Every deal is closable. Sometimes they needed a little extra time to sell the property, an extension of the sale date. Sometimes they could have asked a reduction of the principal balance of the first mortgage or the second mortgage. And this would have been great because if they build goodwill with a loan servicing company that's going to take the house to a foreclosure sale, the loan servicing company wants the property sold. Conventionally, they want that loan out of their books. And if you work with a loan servicing company to get a loan reduction, you build goodwill with them. You're going to get paid when the property closes, and you're building goodwill with a loan servicing company. A loan servicing company will have hundreds of REO listings a year. Great properties in great neighborhoods with great clients. However, these properties were not sold. The real estate agent did not know how to sell a property in bankruptcy. Selling a property in bankruptcy is no different than selling a conventional property. You just have to do a little bit of extra paperwork. A person that is in foreclosure and bankruptcy is highly motivated to sell their property. My clients would literally beg me to help them sell their home. There are very few people across the country that know how to sell a property that is in bankruptcy. There are very few real estate salespeople that know and understand the bankruptcy court system's rules and procedures. In 1997, I was getting ready to get my real estate license and help homeowners in bankruptcy sell their property. One day I received a call from my previous boss. My previous boss owned a real estate investment company. They wanted to buy portfolios of discounted paper, notes, and deeds of trust and mortgages across the country. I wanted to make the jump and start my own business. However, their offer made me hesitate, and I went to work with them. These real estate investors really wanted me because of my previous experience. I had worked for a real estate records company, and we would research property titles. I knew the real estate lending business, and I knew the discounted paper business, and I knew the rules and procedures for state court and for bankruptcy court. I worked with these guys for 3 years. I made my humble salary, and they made millions. In 2001, these two investors retired. In that summer, we were closing down their offices. I was prepping to take my real estate state exam and start my own real estate business, although I did not have a plan. That is bad. I thought I was just gonna start working in real estate, start working in my own real estate business, and I was gonna help a lot of people, and I was gonna make a lot of money. I had seen my previous bosses all make millions. I thought to myself, why not me? I'd already had 13 years of real estate experience. I wanted to work with everyone. I wanted to work with buyers, sellers, listings, loans. I wanted to do commercial real estate, industrial real estate. I wanted to help people buy and sell businesses. I told my boss that I was going to get into real estate sales, and in a throwaway comment, he said, hey, if you're going to get into real estate sales, only work with listings. Focus your efforts on working with listings and sellers only. At the time, I did not understand, but I listened because he is a multi-millionaire, and I knew that he knew his stuff. He was very good at real estate. When I worked for the real estate attorney, bankruptcy attorney, I knew all these families that were losing their homes. My boss had between 40 to 50 cases per month, and I had a few other friends that were bankruptcy attorneys as well, and they had a lot of cases too. I passed my real estate state exam in October of 2001. After that conversation I had with my boss, I made a plan to focus on working with real estate listings. I started a marketing campaign in January of 2002. By March, I was closing an average of 3 listings a month. It was so exciting. I was finally making the money that I was worth. My income skyrocketed to $15,000 per month. I understood why my boss told me work with listings only. As a listing agent, I would get paid my commission, and my client would receive the seller's proceeds. It was unfortunate, but sometimes I would receive up to 20 offers for one of my properties. So many agents would spend time, energy, and money and have nothing to show for it. I've heard the horror stories of buyer's agent that spend months working with a buyer and they have nothing to show for it because the buyers are professional tire kickers and some will never buy a property. Up to 20 buyers submitted offers to my listings, but we could only accept 1 offer. This is how my typical listing went. I would get a call from my marketing campaign. I would go to the listing appointment. I would get the listing. I would put the property on the MLS. I used a few tricks to create an auction effect. I would open up the property only one time for 1 showing. I would generate an average of 20 offers. I would do 1 counter to the buyer's agents. I told the buyer's agents to submit their best and final offer with some instructions on the time period. The escrow period would be 30 days or less. They would have to raise their deposit to 3%, and they would have to remove all their contingencies in 3 to 5 days. The buyer's agents had to get a move on all their inspections and appraisals because the contingencies were going to be removed in 3 to 5 days. Don't let the bankruptcy court paperwork scare you. The paperwork may seem overwhelming at first, but once you learn the process, it's all copy and paste. Once you have closed your first deal, the next deal is the same procedure. I will talk more about this in a bit. Closing a transaction with a motivated seller is much easier than closing a conventional sale, where the property sits on the market for 6 months, 9 months, 12 months. My transactions closed in 30 days or less. I worked with 5 listing niches that have no competition. I had more work than I could handle. Sellers are motivated and they want to sell fast. I created a real estate listing program that shows you these 5 listing sources with practically no competition. Sellers will beg you to take their listings. My listing fee was always 6% plus a $1,500 administration fee because nobody knew how to close these files. Perceived as an expert. I was in my office doing paperwork one day, just doing miscellaneous odds and ends, when I got a call from a potential listing. In our conversation, while I was getting all the information that I needed, the listing prospect mentioned that it was his day off and he wouldn't be able to meet until several days later. I said to him, "Hey, I was just planning on doing paperwork and being in my office today. I could go today, but I'm in my shorts and t-shirt. Do you mind?" He said, "No, I want my property sold." I drove down to his house, a great property in a great neighborhood with a great client, and I'm in my shorts and t-shirt. As I'm taking his listings, there are calendar magnets on the refrigerator door. On the kitchen counter with his mail, there are flyers from other agents that farm the area. And he was taking notes on a notepad from another real estate salesperson. 25 minutes later, I walked out of his house with a signed listing. Property in bankruptcy. If a property is in bankruptcy, I will show you exactly how to navigate through the court system. Most of the time, the seller debtor will only have to file a document that consists of 2 sheets of paper. I'll show you exactly how to do them. Most of the time, the attorney will file all the necessary paperwork with the court. I will show you exactly what verbiage to use when you talk to the attorney. Specialty niche. I specialize in selling properties that were in bankruptcy and other niches. I would average 3 closings a month. Because I was a #1 go-to guy in my niche, an interesting thing happened. Other real estate agents, escrow companies, title companies would call me to work with them to help them close their diverse transactions. No hard selling, no 100 power closes, no fancy scripts. I could pick and choose my clients. I made sure that they were not underwater before I took their listing. I did my best to make sure my clients got as much money as possible. I showed up to the listing appointment and I took out my listing agreement and I started filling it out. My clients agreed to the listing price I suggested. No discussion, no haggling. My clients were happy to pay me my 6% listing fee to list a property and my administrative fee. Another very important factor when it comes to real estate success that I learned from my 2 bosses was to follow the real estate trend. Here are 2 examples of businesses that match the real estate trend. First example, when I started my real estate listing business, we were in a rising economy. The average property was appreciating 25% per year. Second example, when I started my property preservation company, it was right before the mortgage meltdown of 2008. At my peak, I had 25 people working for me. We were servicing hundreds of properties a month. I was making a very comfortable living. Real estate is fun and easy and profitable for me because my businesses match the real estate cycle. There's a huge demand for my services and everything just flows naturally. These businesses won't work if the timing was wrong. If you start a property preservation business during a rising economy, it will not work. I don't care if you have the best marketing, the best crews, the best websites, it will not work because there are no foreclosures. If you want to do real estate sales during a mortgage meltdown, it will be impossible to make it. You will have a very difficult time. It will not be fun. It will be a lot of hard work with no money. If you go against a real estate trend, it will be hard and frustrating. You won't make any money. In my video course, Listing Generation System, I show you several sources of real estate listings with no competition, and I am sure you will find more when you are on your way. I will show you how to position yourself as the expert in the niche. You will be the #1 choice for your clients. I will show you how to walk out of each listing appointment with a signed listing every time, even after they say no. I will show you a few tricks on how to show the property once and create an auction effect and generate a lot of offers. I will show you the procedures of the court systems. I will show you how to time the real estate market, how to thrive in any real estate market, in a rising or declining or a flat market. Earlier in the video, I told you I'd give you a shortcut to real estate success. Here is the shortcut. I have compressed everything that I have learned in 30 years of real estate. Everything that I learned from two brilliant real estate investors that I worked with for 13 years. All those lessons I have compressed into 8 easy to follow modules. You can learn everything step by step. Everything is broken down step by step. Sign up for free at listinggenerationsystem.com. The offer is only available to the first 100 users. I will not offer any new trials after this. When I reopen the program to the public, it will cost between $4,000 to $5,000. Go to listinggenerationsystem.com.